Shalom, shalom, giving all praises unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rahah, Hadash. Honors be to the elect elders of the nation of Israel that do labor and teach the truth and sincerity. Also, shalom to you, Akim, on the highway and hedges that are making a body a living sacrifice, according to Romans 12 and verse 1. Shalom to you, sincere believers as well, which consist of men and women. Shalom, Barakatham, and as always, Abad Babal. This is your brother Zakar Aban coming back with another video. This will be a live sit down going into move mountains. So, if I get started in just 1 second, bear with me. All right, so we're gonna start with the book of Matthew chapter 17, just to go a little bit into the mountains. It's a few things I was meditating on. When we go to the word meditate, it just means think upon. So I was thinking upon, move mountains. And what made me think of this is ultimately thinking about the fact that how the truth, which was so small, right? Meaning it started off with Elder Bivens in Harlem around the 1969 to now how much it has flourished and grown. So a matter of fact, this comes to mind right before I go to the book of Matthew chapter 17. Okay, like I said, there's a few things I'm meditating on of how much his truth has flourished and grown since the day of Elder Bivens from 1969 to now. And a big part of that is, the unicorn, meaning the internet, the satellite. So we're going to start with the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 6. Oh, and also shalom to the brother, Yawanathan, Bakar, shalom, brakatham to you and your household, beloved. 2nd Ezra, chapter 6. And straight to the point. Bear me 1 second. And it reads, so I get. Bear me 1 second. All right, just going to what the truth has flourished. Thought I had it. Bear me 1 second. So long without food. All right. So like I was saying, 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 28, and it reads, as for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome. And the truth, which have been so long without fruit, shall be declared. And it's being declared right now. It says, as for faith, it shall flourish. All right. Meaning what? Now you're coming back to having faith in your power and Yahweh wa Yahweh Shai. Now you're coming back to having faith in all things that is written aforetime. Okay. Now what is going on? Now we see more believers are coming up. We see more believers are approaching camps. We see people how they are approaching camps. They heard about the Hebrew Israelites. Sometimes they inquire. They watch the videos. All right. It says, for faith it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome. And the truth which have been so long without fruit shall be declared. And this corruption that shall be overcome, meaning what? These lies. Right. Let's grab this just to back that up right before I get into the move the mountains. So bear me 1 second. So this is the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 10. Okay? It said that what? Corruption shall be overcome. And it's been overcome not by, as far as a carnal aspect, right? We're not doing like the Black Panthers, or we're not doing like the Brown Berets, or doing like some type of militant group. All we're doing simply is going through the scriptures and telling the truth, right? As it said to do in the book of Isaiah chapter 13, as far as lift up your voice in that book of Isaiah 58 and verse 1, Isaiah 13, okay? Because this is going up to what the gates of the nobles. So this is the book of Second Corinthians chapter 10. And let's start in the book of let's start with verse 1. But verse 4 and 5 is the point. It says, "Now I, Paul, myself beseech you by meekness and gentleness of Hamashiach, who in presence am base among you, but being absent and bold toward you. But I beseech you that I may not be bold when I am present with that confidence, wherewith I think to be bold against some which think of us as we walked it according to the flesh." All right, because ultimately we're not, going according to the flesh. This is all through the spirit. All right. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons, right, of our warfare are not carnal. As I was just saying, we're not some type of militant, group like the groups of old in the 60s, right? Those, like I was saying, the Brown Berets, you had the Black Panthers. This is not what this is. A lot of people like to say the Black KKK. This is not what, this is not what's going on. What's going on is the Most High people are standing up. The prophecy in the book of Ezekiel chapter 37 is being fulfilled. That's what's going on. Those dry bones. All right. That's what's being fulfilled. This is all prophetic that it was going to happen after 3 days and a half. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh. For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through our one Yahweh to the pulling down of strongholds. To the what? To the pulling down of strongholds. Meaning what? These lies, these great lies. And when I say great lies, meaning what? Our people are so heavy into Catholicism, Muslim, all types of different religion denominations. To this very day, even in 2025, Jake is still heavy into it. And not only that, but we still see how Jake, that may be a part, right, in this ministry, that may call himself an Israelite, that may be a part of the circumcision, how they still drag the world perspective into this truth, trying to mix it, what you cannot do. Okay, so this is 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 4, and ultimately this is just backing up what I just read in the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 28, saying that corruption shall be overcome. So 2 Corinthians 10 and verse 4, we use the Most High's mighty weapons, not worldly weapons. This is in NLT. We use the Most High mighty weapons, not worldly weapons, to knock down the strongholds of human reasoning and to destroy false arguments. And the Most High mighty weapons is, this book, this Bible. All right. It cuts deep. Right. Hebrews 4 and verse 12. Okay. Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 10. Matter of fact, I'm going to make this quick point since I quoted to go into the fact that this book, this Bible that we are reading is, without question, a weapon. There's an old saying in the world, that many people say, the truth hurts, meaning what? It cuts deep. Hebrews 4 and verse 12, for the word of the Yahweh is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword. So this is our weapon. This is how we, defend ourselves. All right. Matter of fact, this is how we defend the gospel first and foremost. For the word of Adonai Yahweh is quick and powerful and sharper than any two-edged sword, piercing even to the dividing asunder of soul and spirit of the joints and marrow, and is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. Right. It cuts. That's why sometimes, you could be watching a video, watching a brother, go in the scriptures through the spirit of Yahweh, Yahweh Shai, the Hakudash, and you may even yourself get cut. Meaning you may have not known something was going off, and the brother brings it out, right? Not even thinking about you, not even talking about you, but you be like, whoa, I felt that. Okay, because that's what happens. This word is sharper than any two-edged sword. So this is 2 Corinthians 10 and verse 5. This is laying back more off of it. Casting down imaginations in everything, in every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of Adonai Yahweh. All right, and that's why you see brothers on the highway and hedges standing up for this, standing up for this truth, right? As it says in the book of Psalm 94 and verse 16, who shall rise up for me? So this is what happening. We standing up against against this world that is what averse to the ways and righteousness of Yahweh Shema Shai, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of Adonai Yahweh, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Hamashiach. Right? So let's read this in the NLT. We destroy every proud obstacle that keeps people from knowing Adonai Yahweh. And once again, this is the fulfilling, I got to grab it anyway, but this is the fulfilling of a certain number of men standing up. Right? I just quoted it, but I'm going to bring it out. Let's start in Psalms 94 and verse 16. Who will rise up for me against the evildoers? Or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? All right. And that's what we see right now. Once again, those dry bones that was once dry, that didn't know who they were, which was us for 350 years. We are the ones that are standing up. And shalom to the brother Eno, shalom, brakatham to you and your household, king. We destroy every proud obstacle that keeps people from knowing Adonai Yahweh. We capture their rebellious thoughts and teach them to obey Hamashiach. So we teach them to what? Obey Hamashiach. And we're doing and doing that. What is going on? You'll be keeping the commandments. As it says, for here is the patient and faith of the saints that keep the commandments, loosely paraphrasing. All right. So we're not doing how the world goes about following, a religion, right? Because this is what our customs. Because we understand when we become anew, now we come back to ultimately rehearsing the righteous acts. Okay, so I grabbed 2 Corinthians 10, 4, and 5 just to fall back off of 2 Esdras 6 and verse 28, where it says, corruption shall be overcome. So let me grab that one more time, then I'm going to get into the move the mountains. So bear with me 1 second as I grab it once again, just to refreshing it. So this is 2 Esdras chapter 6 and 28 once again. As for faith, it shall flourish. Corruption shall be overcome. And as I just grabbed in the book of 2 Corinthians 10 and verse 4, that is what's going on. All right. And the truth which have been so long without fruit shall be declared. It's being declared. Once again, lift up your where it says lift up the banner. Once again, Isaiah 13, Isaiah 58 verse 1. We stand upon our feet, man. All right, so now we're gonna go to the book of Matthew chapter 17 and verse 20, because this is what brought me to thinking about this through the Spirit. Matthew chapter 17 and straight to the point in verse 20, and it reads, so this is Yahweh Shai speaking, by the way. And Yahweh Shai said unto them, because of your unbelief, for verily I say unto you, this is Yahweh Shai speaking to the disciples, for verily I say unto you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you shall say unto this mountain, remove hence to yonder place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible unto you. All right. So having what? Faith. And this grain of a mustard seed, just having that little bit of faith is able to do what? Is able to get things accomplished. For without faith, it's impossible to please the Most High. So let me grab this. It's an oldie, right? But it's a goodie, as brother love to say. This is Hebrews 11 and verse 6, straight to the point. But without faith, it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to the Most High must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of them that diligently seek him. But without faith, it's impossible to please him. So what? You have to have faith. So let me go back to here real quick of Matthew 17 and verse 20. And it says, meta NLT is different. You don't have enough faith. Yahweh Shai told them, I tell you the truth, if you had faith even as small as a mustard seed, you could say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it would move. All right, and that's what's going on right now. Meaning what? By brothers coming back, as it says, faith shall flourish in the book of Second Esdras, chapter 6 and verse 28. So faith is what flourishing. Okay, and this mountain, which we understand is what represents government and nation, is being moved. Okay, so that's why we see there's gonna come a time where there's gonna be what, a famine of the word. All right, because now Esau Edom's kingdom is crumbling. All right, through through the brothers casting down curses on this place. Okay, so when it says move mountains, it say in if you have faith even as small as a mustard seed, you could say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move. Nothing will be impossible. So that's what's going on. This mountain, meaning what, this government is going to be what moved. That's why you got Esau Edom having what, think tanks, thinking about how to remove the brethren off the highway and hedges. This is why when you see your videos getting cut, this is why you see how brothers be on the highway and hedges, and once again, like your live get cut. They be playing with the the views and so on and so on. All right, because why? Because this is ultimately scaring the elites of this world. Although the average Joe, the average person that you come across may not look at it as much, but that's all good, right? But the top people, Amalek, the Ish people, the Rothschilds in them, they pretty much know exactly what's going on, and they being what, afraid. All right, they are very, very scared. So when you go to the word mountain, once again, it means government. Even when you go to that word summit, right, it means government. So let me grab this real quick, because it said that what they shall be moved. And like I was saying, the top people of this world, the elites, the Rothschilds, the JP Morgans, right, these top Edomites, the prominents, they are very, very afraid, because they understand that the coming of our power, Yahweh Shai is coming, and it's very, very soon. Out of one Ratazah. So let me grab this. Bear me 1 second. Bear me 1 second. See if I can find this real quick. Should be a book of bear me 1 second. Should be a book of Revelation 11. This comes to mind. Salakia. All right, this is the book of Revelation, chapter 11. Let me see if I can find it. And verse 9, and it says, and they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not suffer their dead bodies to be put in graves. Meaning what? That comfort. All right, to tell us who we were. Rest. But that's not the point I wanted to hit. Here it is. Revelation 11, verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from out of one Yahweh enter into them. And this lines up perfectly with the book of Ezekiel, chapter 37. All right, where it goes into the dry bones. Right, when the Most High was speaking to Ezekiel, saying that can these dry bones live? Right, it said after 3 days and a half, after 350 years, the spirit of life from out of one Yahweh enter into them, the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. So, like I was saying, the elites is pretty much knowing what time it is. All right, they know, they understand what the prophecies, they understand the prophetic things that's that's happening right now. Now the majority of people, they may scoff and mock, which is all good, because it's according to prophecy. The average Joe may not know what's going on, but really the top people, the nobles, understand exactly what's going on. So let's read this again. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from out of one Yahweh entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. All right, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And I remember the apostles, if I'm not mistaken, they were telling a story about how they were telling an old story about back in the day where a man came up in a limousine. They were trying to and they mentioned of how they had paid a lot of money to keep, this secret, to keep this identity hidden, right? It says, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. And once again, this faith is being what flourishing. So these mountains that we see, once again, which represents governments, are being moved. They are being what shaken up. They are what afraid, which is great. Could it mean that what the coming of our Lord Yahweh Shai is on his way? All right. So let's grab a few more. Let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 25. So to pretty much sum it up, this faith, that mustard seed represents the faith, and the mountain that's being moved is once again is these prominent Edomites, right? They in a fearful state. They are being moved. They are being shaken up, and eventually this is going to lead to what? The famine of the word. So this is the book of Isaiah chapter 25 and verse 1. O Yahweh, thou art my power, I will exalt thee. I will praise thy name, for thou hast done wonderful things. Thy counsels of old are faithfulness and truth. Treat again, O Yahweh, thou art my power, I will exalt thee. I will praise thy name, for thou hast done wonderful things. Thy counsels of old are faithfulness and truth. For thou hast made of a city an heap, of a defense city a ruin, a palace of strangers to be no city. It shall never be built. All right. But it says that what in verse 1, it says, I will honor and praise your name in NLT, for you are my power. You will do such wonderful things. You planned them long ago, and now you have accomplished them. Okay. But who will be praising the name of the Most High? The elect. It said that the elect shall praise his holy name in the book of Sirach, chapter 17 and verse 10. So it said, oh Yahweh, I will honor and praise your name. This is only speaking about the elect first. Okay? Only the elect today know the true name of the Heavenly Father and his Son. As it says in the book of Proverbs, chapter 34, what is his son? What is his name? What is his son's name? And thou can tell. Right? So only the elect, Sirach 17 and verse 10, is only praising the name of the Heavenly Father. Salakia, in Proverbs 31 and verse 34. And verse 4. Salakia, Proverbs 31 and verse... matter of fact, let me grab, I want to misquote it. Salakia. Proverbs 30 and verse 4. Salakia. And it reads, who have ascended up into heaven, or descended, who have gathered the wind in his fist, who have bound the waters in a garment, who have established all the ends of the earth. What is his name and what is his son's name, if thou canst tell? Okay, and the only one that name been revealed to is only the elect. It says, you don't do such wonderful things, you planned them long ago, and now you have accomplished them. You turn mighty cities into heaps of ruins. Okay, but it starts off with what? The praising of the name. It starts off with what? The men on the highway in the hedges. Because right before the Most High brings what? Judgment, he always has a prophet on the scene to read you, the judgment that's getting ready to hit. To give yourself what? Time. Known as what? A grace period. The same way where, let me grab it. The same way right here in a book of Genesis 3 and verse 8, where it says, and they heard the voice of the Yahweh Most High walking in the garden in the cool of the day. Now this cool of the day, it represents what? Right before judgment, like the how you could say a grace period before mass judgment goes out. And they heard the voice of the Adonai Yahweh walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Most High amongst the trees of the garden, meaning the other people. But the voice of the Lord is what? The prophets. Luke 1 and verse 70. The prophets since the beginning of time. Okay, so the voice of the Lord is the prophets. So back to the book of Isaiah chapter 25. Just want to quote that real quick. You turn mighty cities into heaps of ruins. Cities with strong walls are turned to rubble. Okay, but once again, it starts out with what? The men, right? The prophets having what? This faith, calling upon Yahweh Yahushai, chanting down Babylon the Great, saying what? Abba, Babal, all right? Sending up curses for this place and sending up blessings for the brethren that are laboring in truth and in sincerity. It said, you turn mighty cities to heaps of ruined cities with strong walls are turned to rubble. Beautiful palaces in distant lands disappear and will never be rebuilt. So once again, this is lining up with what Matthew 17 and verse 20 mean, what those mountains being moved. Because that's what's going on. The government is being what shaken up, and eventually it's all going to what crumble. All right. Eventually, according to prophecy, never again will this place ever be built. It's going to be what crumbled and laid down forever and ever. Verse 3, Isaiah 25 verse 3, grab a few more. Therefore shall the strong people glorify thee, the city of the terrible nations shall fear thee. Therefore a strong nation will declare your glory, ruthless nations will fear you. Okay, and we understand that at the knee, everyone's going to bow to who? Yahweh Shai. So that's what's getting ready to happen. Okay, Yahweh Shai going to be what? Glorified. Because when he came on the scene the first time, he came of make himself of no reputation. He didn't come for popularity. He didn't come for this amount of glory, right? He came to fulfill prophecy. For thou has been a strength to the poor, a strength to the needy in his distress, a refuge from the storm, a shadow from the heat. When the blast of the terrible ones is as a storm against the wall. Meaning what? Yahweh Shai is the strong tower. He's our refuge. He's our comfort. Like I was saying earlier, having this truth is pretty much is a defense, right? And go to the book of Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 10. This is how we fight off what? Demons. We fight off spirits, right? By having what? This truth. This keeps us balanced. This keeps us able to maneuver in Babylon the Great. Because we see how people, bug out. So this is real quick. Proverbs 18 and verse 10, just falling back off of the Most High being a refuge. Proverbs 18 and verse 10, the name of the Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and is safe. That's only the elect. All right, that's separate. So when you go to holy, that means separate. The righteous, all of these apply to who? The elect today, man. Only the righteous is going to call on the true names of the Heavenly Father and the Son. The name of the Yahweh is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and is safe. And is safe. And is safe from what? We got all types of obstacles in Babylon the Great on a day-to-day basis. But how much more when the Most High really turn up the heat on this place? All right. And that heat starts off with Jacob trouble to eventually understand that it's going to come after that missiles. Thou shalt bring down the noise of the strangers as the heat in a dry place, even the heat with the shadow of a cloud. The branch of the terrible ones shall be brought low. The terrible ones, meaning what? Esau, Edom. Going to be what? Brought low. Verse 6, and in this mountain shall the Yahweh of hosts make unto all people a feast of fat things, a feast of wines on the lees of fat things, full of marrow of wines on the lees, well refined. All right, and that mountain goes into what? Jerusalem, because we understand after this kingdom is brought down and destroyed, right, and our kingdom being rebuilt, these other nations is going to have to come, to us to learn. It says in Jerusalem, the Yahweh of heaven armies will spread a wonderful feast for all the people of the world. It will be a delicious banquet with clear, well-aged wine and choice meat. Okay, only in Jerusalem. They're going to bring what? Gifts to us. Let's go to the book of Isaiah chapter 2 and verse 3, straight to the point. And many people shall go and say, come you and let us go up to the mountain of the Yahweh. Now this mountain right here represents, the elect, the governing body, right? The joint heirs with Yahweh Shai. This is the house of David. And many people shall go and say, come you and let us go up to the mountain of the Yahweh, to the house of the power of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion, or to Zayawam, which means monument, shall go forth the law and the word of the Yahweh from Jerusalem. And that's not going on right now. All right. So real quick, so those 1948ers that claim to be these people, no one is going over there to learn anything. As a matter of fact, how much wickedness is going on. Matter of fact, when they was at the went into the land in 1948, I believe the next day, war broke out. So that shows you that those Israelite those so-called Ish people are not the people, man. Israelis. All right, those are not the people. And he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For out of Zion to Zayawam shall go forth the law and the word of the Yahweh from Jerusalem. All right, so that's the mountain. That's that governing body, the house of David. Grab a little bit more. I'm gonna hit this point. Verse 7, Isaiah 25, verse 7, and he will destroy in this mountain the face of the covering cast over all people, in the veil that is spread over all nations. There he will remove the cloud of gloom, the shadow of death that hangs over the earth. All right, and right now, it's being removed right now. Okay, that's happening absolutely right now. As I just grabbed in the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 6 and verse 28, I'm gonna grab it again. But these lies are being cast down. Because now we was once without having any hope. Okay, we didn't understand anything. We was strangers. Okay, but now all these lies and the gloom is being cast down. 2nd Ezra 6:28 once again. As for faith, it shall flourish, corruption shall be overcome, and the truth which had been so long without fruit shall be declared. So that's what's going on. All right, the true way of coming back to Yahweh Shem Shai is being declared, because none of these the denominations have done anything like this, man, because they are not the true followers of Hamashiach. All right, all they are doing is fulfilling the prophecy of being a false prophet, leading you astray. So let's grab it once again. There he will remove the cloud of gloom, the shadow of death that hangs over the earth. Okay, and that starts with what? This light. Isaiah, what's that? Matthew 5 verse 17. Let your light so shine, before men. So let's grab this, because it said he's gonna remove that gloom. And once again, it starts off with seeing your teachers. I gotta grab that as well. Then I'm gonna grab, bear with me. This is the book of Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 20. Right? Was once again just laying back off of removing that gloom. This is Isaiah chapter 30. I'm starting verse 18. But verse 20 is, I'll start verse 20. We'll go straight to the point. And though the other one Yahweh give you the bread of adversity, meaning what these curses, right? Just to sum it up, and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. But thine eyes shall see thy teachers. Okay? And that's that light. That's that light that's going on. Let your light so shine before men, in the book of Isaiah chapter 5 and verse 17. All right, so let me grab this, and I'm gonna get ready to wrap it up. Bear me 1 second. All right, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 49, and verse 6. And it reads, and he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel, Yasharallah. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles, that thou mayest be my salvation to the ends of the earth. All right, and those Gentiles, those are the ones that um was without having this knowledge, as we all were. We all grew up as Gentiles. We was all foreign to this. We was all astray. Although we Israelites by bloodline, by lineage, we didn't understand who we were. So we was like unto what? Gentiles. A lot of these different religion denominations love to run with that word, but that applies to Jake just being estranged from his customs. That's it. And he said, it is a light thing that thou shouldest be my servant to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give thee for a light to the Gentiles. This lines up with the book of Isaiah, chapter 30 and verse 20, where it says, thy eyes shall see thy teacher. All right, because that's what's going on. That thou mayest be my salvation unto the end of the earth. Unto the what? Unto the end of the earth. Unto the latter days. Okay, so I'm going to grab a few more, then that'll be pretty much it. So it says, and there he will remove the cloud of gloom, the shadow of death that hangs over the earth. And once again, first and foremost, it starts with what? The teachers. Because right before the Most High, hit the red button, if you will, hit the button, meaning brings mass judgment, he always sends, prophets on the scene, right? But, to read out the judgment. The same way when you go to court and you have a lawyer and you have the judge, and the lawyer is pleading the case to the judge, and then after the judge hears it, right, he thinks about it, he meditates on it, then eventually he gives out the judgment. That's what's going on right now. So to use a carnal perspective, we would, the prophets is like what? The judge is like the lawyers, all right, telling of all the laws that have been broken, telling how we don't been done wrong, so on, so on. So let's read a little bit more. And it says, he will swallow up death in victory, and the Adonai Yahweh will wipe away tears from all faces, and the rebuke of his people shall he take away from all the earth, for the Yahweh have spoken it. And just to sum it up, meaning what the curses is officially going to be off of Jake. All right, that's that world to come. Okay, so clearly we are not in the new covenant. We are not in the new covenant, man, because we still are subject to these curses to this day. All right. So let me see what else I want to grab. May grab a few more. And it shall be said in that day, lo, this is our power. We have waited for him, and he will save us. This is the Yahweh. We have waited for him. We will be glad and rejoice in his salvation. And this is the elect that is waiting for Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. This is the elect that had the faith of a mustard seed. All right. This is the elect that believed that strongly believed, put their bodies on the line. All right. Through the grace and mercy of Yahweh Shai, of course. Okay. And like I was saying, move mountains. So by the elect being grafted, right, being given the faith and the fear of Yahweh Bashim Shai, this is what is going to move the mountains according to Yahweh Bashim Shai. So all of this is the glorifying to Yahweh Shai. Okay. So let's read this again. And also Shalom to the elder Sagalah, Shalom Brakatham to you and your household. And it shall be said in that day, Lord, this is our power. We have waited for him, and he will save us. This is the Yahweh. We have waited for him. We will be glad and rejoice in his salvation. All right. So this is without question a waiting game. Okay. But within this waiting game, we see how more and more this place is what crumbling, how it is falling. Look at how America within 5 or 6 years since C19 how this place has fell. All right, so let me grab this, and that'll be pretty much it. Then I'm gonna call it. See if I can find this. So lock your bear me 1 second. All right, so this is the. This is Isaiah 40 and verse 31. But they that wait upon the Yahweh shall renew their strength, and they shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. All right, renew your strength. Now, once again, you are what? Strong. Now you are standing upon your feet. Revelation 11 and verse 11, as I grabbed it earlier. All right, let's grab this last one, and that'll be pretty much it. Psalms 27 verse 14, just laying back off of waiting upon Yahweh Yahushua. Wait on the Yahweh, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen thine heart, meaning what? Your mind. Wait, I say, on the Yahweh. So when we see, certain men that was once, doing the work, ministering, and then eventually they fall out. Why? Because they lost patience. Okay, they wasn't able, to wait upon Yahweh Yahushua. He said, wait on the Yahweh, be of good courage, and I shall strengthen thine heart. Okay, it's the Most High's will to do what? To strengthen you, to make you strong. Okay, those one of the things that we should be praying for, man, is that we continue to have a strong mind. All right, especially in this dark world. Strengthen thine heart. Wait, I say, on the Yahweh. All right, so I'm gonna end it there. All right, pretty much hit the points I wanted through the spirit of Yahweh Shema Shai. So I'm in it there. I'm gonna give all praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Raha, Kodash. Honors be to the elect elders of the nation of Israel that do labor and teach the truth and sincerity. Also, Shalom to all you Akim, you hopeful elect on the highway and the hedges, making your body a living sacrifice, according to Romans 12 and verse 1. Shalom, Brakatham, and as always, Abba Ball and DTA. Shalom. Shalom to all the Akim that hopped on. Shalom. To the Mashapach. Shalom.